We're counting on you to have some interest, and stay tuned for Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents.
Welcome to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. My name is Ralph Phillips, and with me is my co-host, Amy Tattern. Hello, Amy.
Hello, Ralph.
What are we talking about today, Amy?
Today we're talking about supporting your favorite charity, and we have guest Jeng Chiu from the Hartford and attorney Charles Weston from Lower Borough.
So, folks, we do hope that you'll hang with us here. We're going to take a real quick break, and we will be back with attorney Charles Weston. So, stay with us.
Hi, I'm Ross Walker of the Ross Walker Funeral Home in New Kensington.
And I'm Lisa Walker. My brother and I are proud to carry on the tradition of caring for families as our father did before us.
Our reputation of dealing fairly and providing funerals for all faiths and nationalities dates back generations.
We believe our service is second to none. Call us at need or pre-need.
Visit our modern facilities. There's plenty of parking and we're conveniently located.
If your investments aren't performing the way you expect, chances are neither is your agent. At Kensington Financial, we know the most important part of financial service is service itself. As a local independent, our commitment to customer service starts and ends with your needs, not the needs of your broker. For a no-obligation review, call Kensington Financial today. Unlike your current advisor, we'll call you back. Kensington Financial, your planning partner.
Sponsored in part by Emeritus Variable Life Insurance Company, providing variable life and variable annuities since 1983. Emeritus Variable Life is a unified company.
For all of your estate planning or estate settlement needs, you can depend on attorney Charles E. Weston to develop a plan that fits your specific need. With over 30 years of experience, your needs are in good hands. Call for a free consultation on any estate subject today. Welcome back to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. We're in the Holiday Inn in Johnstown, and we are talking with attorney Chuck Weston on supporting your favorite charity.
Chuck, I guess what I'd really like to do is to first start out by, defining charity.
A charity is defined in Section 501c3, the Internal Revenue Code. Charities recognized for tax purposes, I think is what you're speaking about. Churches, benevolent associations, your Rotaries, your Kiwanis, your Knights of Columbus.
Can we get as specific as an endangered species or the youth services in our local area?
Well, it would depend if they are, specifically if they are an entity, whether they're an organization or not. A lot of these are ad hoc organizations, parents for the footballs, the basketball or the wrestling organizations. They're really not recognized as, quote, charities by the IRS, but again, they're not in there for profit. We have the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, or some other well-known ones. A lot of the churches and the national evangelists, those are charities. The YMCA, those are charities. Now, there are some organizations that are organized as non-profits. Blue Cross was a non-profit, Blue Cross of Western Pennsylvania. They've changed to profit. We have some organizations out there that become non-profits to take advantage of the tax situation. We've seen nursing homes doing that. I've seen some attorneys set up non-profit organizations. Specifically, there's one that does these living trusts, those revocable living trusts. It's a non-profit. And really, they control the non-profit, and they derive their income from there.
So under the IRS code, under 501c3, a charity, a non-profit organization, has the ability to extend to donors a partial or a full write-off off of donations that they make?
It's a tax deduction.
Tax deduction.
From their income.
Okay. What are some of the, Chuck, what are some of the ways that we can, as members of the community, what are some of the ways that we can benefit these charities?
Obviously, the most common way that we all know is that we make a donation, $5, $10, $100, whatever, to the charity to meet their current operating expenses. And we've got more charities than we do have funds out there now. So we see a struggle within our community, Ralph, of these organizations that do a lot of good for the community, struggling to get funds to continue to meet their operational costs and achieving their charitable goals.
Do we see the same charities going back to the same pot of money on a regular basis, and that pot has a tendency to shrink over time?
The pot has a tendency to shrink, and the thing that really happened last year, we had a lot of international and national disasters that really required help from a lot of people, and a lot of people gave to the tsunami, and a lot of people gave to the Katrina relief effort. So that took a lot of money out of the pool for the local charities. So they have to search for ways to increase the funding pool, which we know is shrinking, or different ways to obtain funding to meet their costs and their overall capital budgets for expenditures.
What are some of the alternate choices that we have in funding charities?
But in funding charities, outside of the donation area, you may have a situation where people have highly appreciated property. And I'm not talking about people that have, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, but some people have purchased stock in the past, perhaps at the beginning of their career, and now it's highly appreciated. Let's take an example of somebody that invested $500 several years ago. Today it's worth $5,000. They may need the money. If that's the case, that's not a qualified donor. But if they'd like to use those funds to help a charity, they could donate the stock to the charity. Now, most people will think, well, I'll sell the stock and then I'll give the money to the charity. Well, if they sell the stock, they're subject to capital gains tax. And that dilutes, if it's $5,000, subtract the have the $5,000, subtract the basis from it, and then the charity gets whatever's left, which is less than $5,000. The better way, a more effective way to do that is to donate the stock. Don't sell it. Donate the full value of the stock to the charity.
And allow the charity to sell it?
The charity then sells it, gets the full $5,000. The person that donates it gets a $5,000 charitable deduction from their income tax. And it's a tricky portion there because the deduction, your charitable deduction on your federal income tax, and I'm assuming it's a 50% charity, is you take your adjusted gross income, multiply it by 50%, and that's the limit of your charitable deduction for that year. Okay. You are able, if there's any excess, to carry that deduction into the next year.
How many years can you carry that
You can go forward 5 years, carrying forward that deduction.
Wow. Okay, so one way we can make a contribution besides donating cash is to donate an asset and allow the nonprofit organization to liquidate that asset, use the funds that they derive from it in the best way they see fit, and the charitable organization does not have to pay taxes?
They're a non-taxable entity.
Okay.
Okay, if you donate a piece of real estate to a charity, how does that charity benefit from a piece of real estate?
Well, I think the one thing the charity wants to be particular in that case is to make sure that they can liquidate the real estate.
Okay.
That's what they have to make sure they can do, because obviously vacant land, unless it's going to be used at some future time for a building or a recreation center or some other charitable purposes, really doesn't serve their cause. So you have to determine what type of use.
Okay.
And if it's not going to be used, the process of liquidation.
Are there any choices that are available that might provide an income stream later on?
Well, there's really two things that person could do, Ralph. One, they can bequeath that property to the charity in their will.
And when you say property, you don't just mean real estate, you mean any asset?
Real or personal property.
Okay.
As long as the charity will accept it. The other choice, and this becomes difficult because we've had several discussions about charitable remainder unit trusts. Those are for wealthy individuals or people that have high appreciation, small basis on some type of assets, generally stock. And to set these things up, you do have to have a significant amount of money to cover the annual expenses of investment administration, financial reporting, tax returns, and you have to pay money to set these organizations up. And that's a tremendous burden. Most of the charities in our area do not have the funds or the base to draw upon to establish these types of entities. There is a vehicle under the IRS code called a pooled income fund. And a pooled income fund is for charities to establish these charitable remainder unit trust type entities where individuals who are not high net worth, high wealth individuals, that they could donate this property and get the same tax advantages as wealthy people.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with some more discussion about benefiting your favorite charity and pooled income funds and charitable remainder trusts. So stay with us. We hope you enjoy these messages, and we'll be right back.
Don't wait until it's too late. Burglar, fire, hold-up, and medical alarms for your home, commercial, or industrial needs. Signalgraph Security is a local company that can provide you with the security and service you want. Signalgraph Security will custom design a system for your home or business at a reasonable price and provide you with prompt service when you need it most. At Signalgraph Security, you talk to the same people every time. So for all your security needs, and to save at least 10%, call Signalgraph Security, where your security is our concern.
Tax season is here, and with Burton Accounting Services, you can file your taxes and get a quick refund through a refund anticipation loan in 1 to 2 days upon bank approval, or get a rapid transfer in 14 days upon tax return acceptance. Tracy Burton at Burton Accounting Services in Tarentum can file your taxes and get your refund quick. Call Burton Accounting Services, 724-224-4789.
Tired of struggling with uncomfortable, frustrating hearing aids? Are you ready to experience natural sound again? Well, Vivatone is your answer, a revolutionary new hearing aid that gives you the natural sound without the whistling and echo and noise that you're used to. And unlike many other traditional hearing aids, Vivatone doesn't require the creation of ear molds. To feel the immediate difference, visit Remetta Audiology for a no-obligation trial and ask about saving 20% on Vivatone.
Welcome back to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. We're talking with attorney Chuck Weston and supporting your favorite charity today. And when we left, we were talking about pooled income funds.
Give an example. If we have a charity that has set up a pooled income fund, let's assume it's an established fund, that you have a client or a customer that has a philanthropic desire to donate something to charity, and let's say it's $5,000 of appreciated property. Back to the $5,000
Sure.
again. But they want to be able to keep that income stream for themselves throughout the years, but still help their charity. They could donate that property to a charity that has a pooled income fund, same tax deductions and everything, so they get to write it off on their income taxes. And
The same tax deduction as a
charitable remainder unit trust.
Okay.
So, but the key is that the tax deduction is the present value of the interest that you're giving to the charity, because you're going to get the income during your life. So if they donate $5,000, that tax deduction comes to them. The charitable organization takes the property, liquidates it into cash, and they invest it for an income stream. Now what happens then is, based on the historical and current return on that income, they will distribute that income to the donor, generally on a quarterly basis, for their lives. And it could be somebody else's life also. But that income stream will continue on to that person's demise. And at the end of their life, the remainder interest goes to the charity. So the charity goes through all this administrative work during that person's life, but at the end they get funded. So it's a stream of funding at a point in time. If you get enough people participating in this, there'll be a pretty steady stream of money into your capital fund.
But it sounds to me as if it's a win-win situation for the donor. They have an opportunity to benefit their organization, their favorite charity, down the road. They receive an immediate reduction in their taxes from the donation that they're making, and along the way, once the donation is made, they're receiving income from that asset.
That's correct, Ralph.
That's fantastic.
It's a It's a great benefit, and if a charity has that type of vehicle that you can participate in it, you will get all the gains and benefits from your contribution and still receive the income. It's a good deal. It's a win-win for everybody.
Of course, there's a question, who can set this up for us? Who would help us do all this paperwork and get it going?
The documentation and everything is not difficult to set up. The key is having the contribution base. And what you'll generally see is this. You may have a local charity, but if they're under a national umbrella, they will be able to participate in the national organization's pooled income fund.
Folks, we're going to take a real quick break. We will be right back with more about charitable giving and supporting your favorite charity, so please stay with us. At Kensington Financial, we pride ourselves on not only putting together the appropriate long-term plan for you, but also, and almost more importantly, on making sure that we execute that plan appropriately over the long term. Once we've done that, there's plenty of time for you to go out and enjoy the finer things in life, like a phenomenal meal and a great bottle of wine.
Welcome to Harrigan's Cafe and Wine Deck at the Holiday Inn, downtown Johnstown. My name is Amy Tattern, and joining me tonight is co-host Ralph Phillips. Hi, Ralph.
Great to be with you, Amy.
And General Manager of the hotel, Mr. Samuel Phillips. Hi,
Hello.
Sam. The dish that we are about to eat looks unbelievably good.
This is a still life of seafood. Our chef has really created a work of art here. A variety of seafood on a potato and fennel fumet.
What did you match up with this still life?
Oh, I've actually chosen a wine from outside of the United States. It's a Whitehaven Pinot Noir, and it's from the Marlborough region of New Zealand. A Pinot Noir is a lighter bodied red wine, and the reason why I've paired it with this seafood entree is because it can stand up to the taste of the fennel.
Well, Sam, with the depth and quality of your wine list and how wonderful all these dishes are, I can see why Harrigan's is doing so well in Johnstown. Thank you very much for allowing us to come in. We'll be right back, folks, so please stay tuned.
For all of your estate planning or estate settlement needs, you can depend on attorney Charles E. Weston to develop a plan that fits your specific need. With over 30 years of experience, your needs are in good hands. Call for a free consultation on any estate subject today.
Sponsored in part by Emeritus Variable Life Insurance Company, providing variable life and variable annuities since 1983. Emeritus Variable Life is a unified company.
Welcome back to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. I'm Amy Tattern, along with co-host Ralph Phillips.
Hi, Amy.
Hi. And today we're talking with Jeng Chiu from the Hartford. He is a retirement specialist. Hi, Jeng.
Hi, nice to see you.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
We're talking about charitable trusts, how to benefit a charity. We've spent some time already talking with attorney Charles Weston from Lower Borough. Jeng, we really wanted to spend some time with you in your company and talk about a different aspect of doing the trusts. Attorney Weston talked to us a great deal about the bricks and mortar, if you will, how
Absolutely.
to actually set the things up.
Right.
I wanted to spend some time, Amy and I wanted to spend some time today talking with you about what we do once the thing is set up.
Okay, absolutely.
Perhaps some funding options that we might have.
Sure.
How life insurance might fit into it, if it's even
Absolutely.
appropriate. So why don't you, I guess, get the ball rolling.
Okay, absolutely. What Chuck talked to you about was setting up the Charitable Marriage Trust. And a lot of the reasons people set that up is to donate some property to charity. And you could donate whether it's stocks or mutual funds or real estate or even a business you could donate to the trust. Now, typically what happens is once those assets are in the trust, you typically sell off those assets and diversify your portfolio. And what we mean by diversifying means we sell off and purchase a mutual fund or annuity to give you more access to different equities and different stocks and so forth.
Is that the funding part?
Absolutely. Funding really just means putting the donation in place so that you could get that income stream from the Charitable Marriage Trust For example, if you were to put real estate into the trust, then what happens is you might not be able to get that income stream consistently. So by having it with liquid assets like a mutual fund or annuities, that'll make the trust a lot easier. So.
Jeng, once I donate to a charity, once I put anything in, stocks, bonds, money, real estate,
right,
do I have control over that anymore?
No, you lose control. Now what you do have control over in a charitable manner trust is the beneficiary.
Okay.
So for example, you donate to a school, your favorite school.
Sure.
And for some reason they have a losing season and you're not that happy. You could always change the beneficiary, and that's the great thing. But the trust itself is irrevocable. So you want to make sure that you have your financial planning in place before you set up a charitable manner trust to make sure that your retirement is secure, that everything else about your financial plan to get with you, Ralph, to make sure everything is in place before you do this type of vehicle, because otherwise, if you want that money back, you are not going to be able to have access to it.
Are there any securities, for example, that we either would not want to purchase inside of a trust or cannot purchase inside of a trust?
There's very little things that you cannot do, but the key is you want to make sure that you have enough liquidity to be able to pay the interest income that's required. Generally, as Chuck have told you already, that you have to do 5 to 50% of the principal to be taken back into an income stream. So if you have an illiquid asset, you might have to sell off those assets to pay that income stream. And if you have an illiquid asset, it's much more difficult to do.
Are there any legitimate uses of life insurance in the whole idea of setting up a trust?
Absolutely.
And why would we even think about using life insurance?
Right. Typically what happens is, let's say you have a high net worth client and they want to donate to charity. But if they donate their asset to charity, what about their beneficiaries? What about their son? What about their daughter? What about their grandchildren? So they don't want to displace them in lieu of the charity. Now, one technique that a lot of people do use is what's called a wealth replacement trust. So what happens is they donate a low-cost basis asset. What that means is they paid very low for it, and now it's gone up in value quite substantially. And the reason you want to donate that piece of property is because you don't have to pay any capital gains. So you donate that, and what's going to happen in a charitable manner trust situation is that the trust will give you an income stream. And you take that income stream and you could purchase a life insurance policy in what's called an ILIT, an irrevocable life insurance trust. And the reason you do that is to replace the asset that you donated to charity. And that will come estate tax free to your kids. So you could have something for your children and for the charity at the same time.
Was this set up for wealthy people for an income tax break?
Well, certainly wealthy people benefit the most from doing that type of planning because it's a estate planning technique, and that's what we're talking about. But like Chuck said, everybody needs some form of estate plan. And if you do decide to do some kind of charity donation, even though the charitable manner trust might not be your best option, it is available to you. There's other charitable ways that you could give. For example, you could just make an outright gift to charity. So there's lots of different techniques, and people will still benefit. But usually, charitable manner trust technique is for sort of the high net worth individual.
Okay.
What is what's the best course of action for someone, for one of our viewers, for example, to follow to get the ball rolling on something like this? They're interested in it, they like the way it sounds, but they don't understand everything.
First thing that you should do is definitely get with you, Ralph, and to talk about what their overall situation is. What's the best type of trust to set up? Is it a charitable manner trust? Even that has a couple of elements that Chuck has talked to you about, whether it's an annuity trust or a uni trust. Now, this sounds really complicated, but working with experts like yourself and Chuck, it just makes it a lot more simple. So the first thing is to get with a financial advisor and sit down and talk about all the different options, because there's not one option that's best for everybody. There's not a panacea, there's not sort of a magic pill, if you will. That's why there's different techniques that's individualized. And so by working with you and by working with Chuck, you could decide based on your individual situation, what's the best course of action. Once you do that, then you start filling in the details, working with Chuck, and get the trust set up and then figure out which asset to donate, and that's important too. I'm sure Chuck will go into that further when you meet with Chuck and yourself, but the key is, for example, you want to donate something that you spent very little money on if you want to set up a charitable mandate trust where it's appreciated in value. And the reason is, once again, a charity does not, or a charitable trust does not pay any taxes. So
what does a company like the Hartford bring to the table in this whole scenario?
that's a great question. And what we do is we help fund that vehicle that we talked about. So, for example, if you have stocks or you have real estate or you have a closely held business and you put it into the trust, we can help you diversify that trust by having mutual funds or annuities to provide you that income stream, to, whether you need that income stream, or also if you want to do the wealth replacement trust with the life insurance inside the ILIT.
Hang on, folks, we'll be right back.
AKLC Studios, professional quality at hometown prices.
When we have dance recitals, it's important to capture the memories of our dance shows for the students to keep for their families. For the past 3 years, I have used AKLC Studios. They have provided quality videos at an affordable price that my dance studio can afford. I cherish these videos with my students.
Experience the same great service and exceptional product that you can expect for all of our video production services.
During Ladle's Kitchen, I am here to show you how to make marvelous soups for your family, great entrees, desserts, and even some appetizers. But my other love is decorating. As you can see, many of these items were purchased at Ladle's Country Cupboard, just a few steps away. Visit Ladle's Country Cupboard to pick up an item for your home or for your kitchen. Thank you.
There is a bank that makes a great addition to any small business or a great beginning for any entrepreneur, a bank that's focused on building a personal relationship with you. Enterprise Bank employs highly professional relationship managers with a vested interest in helping your business grow. They themselves are small business entrepreneurs who can empathize with the challenges of growing a small business. For your business needs, count on Enterprise Bank, the bank that is built for your business.
Welcome back to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. We had a great show talking about supporting your favorite charity.
Amy and I would especially like to thank our guests today, Attorney Charles E. Weston from Lower Borough and Jeng Chiu from the Hartford. They gave us a lot of incredibly important information to consider about different options that we can use to support our favorite charities. And folks, Amy and I did want to let you know that while there are many options, they are not that complicated. However, if you do need more information, if you'd like to talk to us a little bit more, we hope that you'll give us a call.
At 724-334-1950 or email us at questions@kensingtonfinancial.com or stop in for a cup of coffee at our office in Lower Borough, 2664 Leechburg Road.
Thank you again so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents.
Bye.